This is a portion of our meeting with public input. There's one 3-minute limit per speaker. Is there anyone who'd like to address the board?
Well,
Give your name and address, please.
Don Snyder, 6361 Leadville Road. First question, which I wasn't going to ask, but I have to ask now. Is there a reason why you had to take the executive session when you did, and public comment has to come at the end of the meeting, or could we have had public comment and then go into executive session and finish up the meeting?
We could have done it that way, but if we would have reconvened, you may not be here. You might have left. That's why we do it that way. If we make a decision, I'd rather have everybody here rather than me come back and have nobody here and then you're say, what are you doing?
Well, but in most cases, when you go do that, the things don't concern us as a general public. They would concern individuals that you, in fact, were dealing with. So I just think that it's poor customer service to have us here, longer than we have to be here. Talking again about the assessor, I think we can have the best of two worlds. I think we can have, now whether Linda's able to stay on for a while, that has to do with obviously retirement and all that kind of stuff, I understand that. But we could go out now and search for a full-time appraiser. We can have Linda obviously be here hopefully until that took place. And we have in the town of Salina an individual that could be a consultant for us to help train or bring along this person that we're going to hire as a full-time assessor if that in fact is necessary. This 2-year process that the committee has talked about, we know it's a 2-year process anyway, needs, I think, someone on top of it all the time. It's going to be a big process. If you don't push these big companies, they'll take forever. Obviously, I'm great to see you're going to put the RFP together. I think that's absolutely essential because then we release it out there and feel what's going on out there. But I think you have to do that. One thing you got to be careful when you also make these decisions. You put a committee together. You as the board put a committee together. You ask them to spend a lot of time, and they spend a lot of time putting their report together. I haven't talked to any of them in particular, but I have read the report fully. You got to be real careful. If there is a flaw in what they said, that's one thing, but I don't think there's any flaws in what the committee did. And if you, in fact, as a board, take what they thought we ought to really do, and that it makes sense, then you need to really consider doing what they said, what they recommend you do, or you're going to have a tough job getting other people to join committees to, in fact, evaluate or reevaluate things that got to take place in the town. The one thing we don't want to have, obviously, an attitude that says, well, they put a committee together just to make it look good, but the board went off and did what they wanted to. Now, we know the board, that's, we elect you guys to make the final decisions, but I think if you're going to ask for input from the public, then I think you need to listen to the input from the public. How are we going to pay for it? Well, the thing we're going to have to pay for, obviously, it ultimately has to be on everybody's tax bill. And if my bill has to have, in either 2010 or 2011, a $60 charge added to it one time, that's, again, we're talking about fair taxation. So if, in fact, that's what it turns out to be, I don't like to stand here and say I want my taxes raised, but if, in fact, that's how we're going to have to get everybody equal and fair taxation, then we're going to have to, in fact, in 2010 and in 2011, get that money from us. We can, because whether you borrow it or not, we're going to borrow it and we're going to pay taxes, we're going to pay interest on that. So I think that has to be looked at as a way of doing it. I think that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.